So, on the first round of voting for Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries got every single Dem to vote for him. So he had 212. Kevin McCarthy got 203 Republican votes, which was, of course, not enough. He needed 218 to win it outright. All right. He got 203. Andy Biggs got 10, and then a handful of others split the remaining 9. So this marked the first time in 100 years that a speaker has not won outright on the first round. That once in a century this happened. So after that, Jim Jordan got up and gave a speech begging his party to unite behind Kevin McCarthy so that they can put this whole battle in the past and get to work, right? He even said, he gave the big tent bullshit speech that we have heard from the Democrats all the time. We have differences, yes, but they pale in comparison to the differences we have with those on the other side of the aisle, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Jordan gets up there and says, vote for McCarthy. Right after that, Matt Gaetz, Congressman Matt Gaetz, gets up and nominates for Speaker of the House Jim Jordan, who just got up and begged people to vote McCarthy. And here's the video of that.
Well, sometimes we have to do jobs that we don't really want to do. And sometimes we have to do jobs that we are called to do. And so, my colleagues, I rise to nominate the most talented, hardest working member of the Republican conference who just gave a speech with more vision than we have ever heard from the alternative. I'm nominating Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is humble, perhaps today humble to a fault. Maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who wants it so bad. Maybe the right person for the job of Speaker of the House isn't someone who has sold shares of themselves for more than a decade to get it. Maybe Jim Jordan is the right person for Speaker of the House because he is not beholden to the lobbyists and special interests who have corrupted this place and corrupted this nation under the leadership of both Republicans and Democrats.
I just want to pause it for 1 second. We're going to let him finish. Look at the stink eye he's getting from this guy up here with the eyeglasses. Look at that. Look at the discomfort in the room. These are his fellow GOPers. McCarthy is sitting about 4 seats down from him right now. And he says, we're not going to give the speakership to a guy who has sold shares of himself, to a guy who represents the corruption that has rotted out the Democrat and the Republican parties. Imagine AOC getting up and doing this. This is what AOC was elected to do. AOC and the squad were elected to get up and give a speech like this. Obviously not with the same aims as Matt Gaetz, right? But this is what they were elected to do, to stand up and give this speech and draw the ire of their entire party. Yep. Look at the face that Mr. Bowtie is giving him. They were sent there to get those kinds of faces from Steny Hoyer, from Nancy Pelosi, from Hakeem Jeffries. That's what they were sent to do, to disrupt in exactly this way. Do you have anything to say, Russell, quick before we let him finish here?
Well, and when you see this, I got to say, I hate to say it. It just makes you wonder if people who are attracted to the left just have no balls. Like maybe it's just the pool of people you're dealing with just don't have spine, don't have courage. Maybe they're just not the kinds of people who will light the joint on fire. Maybe, I mean, they used to be. You used to have your Abby Hoffmans and all of these people who are willing to go to jail.
Yeah, but they weren't in Congress. That's, I think, the difference.
You know what? That's true. That's true. They weren't in Congress. But, I mean, it seems like when you watch this and you watch him saying things that actually anyone on the left, on the real left would agree with, that these people on both sides, he says on both sides, are beholden to these special interests. You show me AOC going on the floor and saying something like that about the leadership of her conference. You'll never see that. So it really does make you wonder. I mean, ideologically, I don't agree with most of what they believe in, but they're actually willing to stick their necks out in a way that you just have to wonder if some of that slam of the left being kind of weak-kneed, namby-pamby people that usually comes from the right. Maybe they're right. This is a good example of it, because there is no one on the left who would do what he's doing right now, and he's not even the one of the more major figures in that movement.
Maybe Jim Jordan would be the right person for Speaker of the House because he wouldn't fight us when we try to get a term limits bill on the floor. Maybe Jim Jordan would be the right person because he wouldn't fight us when we try to put a balanced budget on the floor and vote for it. And maybe Jim Jordan is the right person because he would endorse the plan that was built by the Texas delegation to finally secure our border. Mr. Jordan said in his nomination that there are certain bills that we have to pass to fix the problem. The challenge is the alternative has been someone voting for the very bills that have caused these problems. Mr. Jordan says that we cannot accept legislation like the omnibus, and I fully agree. And if Jim Jordan were Speaker of the House, if he were the leader of the Republican team, we wouldn't have that circumstance choking the economy of our country, increasing inflation, and diminishing the prospects of a better life for our fellow Americans. And finally, Mr. Jordan said we must engage in rigorous oversight. Every one of my Republican colleagues knows that the person who can lead that oversight effort, who works on it every day, who has the skill and the talent and the will, is Jim Jordan. I'm nominating him, and I'm voting for him.
I'm nominating him, and I'm voting for him, and eat shit if you don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm nominating him, and I'm voting for him. McCarthy got 203 votes out of 222 Republican votes. That's 90%. 90% of the Republican Party is on board with McCarthy for Speaker. This guy got up and told them all to fuck off on TV with every camera that matters in the country on him, all the TV networks on him, all eyes in the world are on Matt Gaetz in that moment saying, eat shit, fuck you, no deal. That's it. That's it. He doesn't give the pussy excuse that AOC gave. Well, the problem is if we force a vote, what happens next? What's step two? What's step two? This guy don't give a shit about that. This guy gets up there. Nope. McCarthy? No. I'm nominating Jim Jordan. If that doesn't work, we'll figure something else out. You're not getting this guy. You can go fuck yourself. I don't care who hates me. I don't care if 90% of the party hates me. I don't care if every TV network hates me. Every radio host hates me. You can all go fuck yourself. It's a no from me because that's what I was sent there to say. That's what I was sent here to say. I was sent here to disrupt. I am disrupting. Not one worthless, coward, progressive Democrat has the guts to do what he just did there. Not one. Not one. No. And that's your problem. That's your problem. Okay, so stop. Stop with the, I mean, we'll talk about this next time. But all this stuff, there's got to be unity. Unity behind what? Are you kidding me? That's what they were sent there to do. That's what they're sent there to do.
And at first, we thought they were going to do it. AOC, her opening bid was protesting in Pelosi's office before she was even sworn in. It seemed so promising. It seemed so promising, and that's why we lined up behind 10 more like her, and none of them did any, including her. It reminds me, watching that speech reminds me of Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now, where he describes this horrible thing that the Viet Cong were willing to do. And he says, give me 2 battalions of such men and our troubles here will be over very quickly. I watch the Republicans. I say, give us 20 like that, and we're going to take over the country. But we don't even have 2 like that. We don't even have 1 like that. And again, this is Matt Gaetz. I mean, this is not, it's not Henry Clay. This is not one of the great figures in congressional history. And even he's better than anything on the Democratic side.
Please clap.